If we could all give our attention up front to our guest speakers, they're going to bring out the S.P.O.T machine, and they're going to demonstrate it and explain what it does and how wonderful it is.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here tonight. I'm going to bring out the S.P.O.T in a minute. It takes a few minutes to boot up, so in the meantime, I'm going to turn this over to Paula. She can talk a little bit about the S.P.O.T that the District 16A Charitable Foundation just purchased that we're going to make available for clubs to borrow for eye screenings, vision screenings. But let me give this to Paula, and I'll start the S.P.O.T.
Thank you, Phil Lyons, for inviting us, Governor Bob. Thank you for having us here this evening. When we were at the convention last year, I spent quite a bit of time with the representative from Pediavision. And the young man who was there, his father actually is the developer of this camera. And an interesting side note, he's also a developer of the kiosks that you see for quick check-in in the airports. Same guy did those kiosks as did the S.P.O.T. But what we liked about this, the other camera that preceded this, you would have to take a picture, you'd have to send it out, it would have to be read by another person, and then results would be sent back, and then you could give the results to the children that were being screened. With the S.P.O.T camera, you don't do that. It's instantaneous, within seconds. And Glenn's going to demonstrate. You see the size of this thing is phenomenal, and it's linked wireless to a printer, and it gives you a report. Now, what this report does is tells you if there are no abnormalities, and it's not only just for amblyopia. It does diagnose a few other things such as nearsighted, farsighted, astigmatism. And it recommends on there, it gives you readings to take to an optometrist, preferably an ophthalmologist if it's a child, a pediatric ophthalmologist, so you can catch any problems right in the very beginning. And it gives you, as I said, a printout. Now, our District 16A Charitable Foundation recently approved the purchase of one of these S.P.O.T cameras and a printer. And we are going to have, it requires minimal training, by the way. We're going to have a designated committee, which actually includes Glenn, myself, our president, Charles Landisman, and Lou Casero, past district governor from 16A, who's been doing many thousands of screenings with the old camera up in 16A for years. But with this, it's very lightweight. The printer weighs about 10 times more than the camera, very easily transported. But what we did, we agreed that we would purchase the camera. The cost of this is about $8,000. But it does not require calibration, which the old cameras did. At least every 12 to 18 months, the old cameras had to be sent back to recalibrate. This does not require recalibration. And also, it does not have any film. It's instantaneous. It goes right to the printer, prints out on plain copy paper. So we purchased the camera and a printer about a month and a half ago. And what we're doing now, we're currently drawing up a contract, and we will be sending out notification to the clubs in A, and eventually, which will be encompass E as well. E, A, and D. So people from the clubs here in this room, it will be available to the clubs that are merging into District N after July 1. And all we ask is a $10 donation from each club that borrows it to help offset the cost of the ink. You will provide your own paper for the printout, but the rest of the camera would be on loan. And of course, anyone who borrows it is responsible. But we think it's a good thing. We want to share it because we know not every club can afford to purchase an $8,000 camera. And you may only do one screening a year, but this will get you out into the community. It will now provide something available that it did not have before, and get your name out there. So with that, I'm going to ask Glenn to step forward and explain a little bit about the camera and how it works.
It works great with kids, but sometimes with adults, it seems that the eyes of adults, the pupils are smaller, and it doesn't always pick it up. So we know it worked with Paula last time we did it, so that's what I'm going to do, Paula. But I can put anything in here if you don't want to give me an age for it. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Incidentally, you can do babies as young as 3 months.
The only problem The only problem we had when we tried to do with babies is it's very hard to keep a real small baby still, because they do have to stay still for a minute. This thing actually finds the eye, and you'll see when I do it, if it works properly, it finds the eye. I don't have to push any button, it just finds the eye and automatically takes the picture. Okay, I'm going to try it now. Let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, you also, after you put in the age, you also have to put in whether or not the person is using glasses or contacts, and you have glasses on. Okay. So I put that in, put in glasses, and then it says, is the subject wearing their prescriptions? Yes. And then it makes a noise that sounds like birds chirping, and it gives off a light, if you can see this, which is good because it gives the kids, the kids look at the light and hear the bird, and it actually excites them a little bit, and they look at it. But I'm going to try this now. Trying to catch it. I can see if it's not completely. This should have gone by now.
Yeah, we all heard it.
Anyway,
What
I do
No,
have.
actually, you don't have to be closer.
You don't have to, it tells you if you're too close or too far away. But what I do have, I printed out, thinking I might have a problem, I printed out 2 of the printouts. Oh, yeah. You want to do it with?
Yeah, sitting over
I can't say there was one 1947, so let me go back and.
48.
Go back. Okay, try again.
I think it's the light.
What I have here is 2 printouts. One for someone who where the screening came out clean. In that case, you get a printout that says screening complete, and one that had I think this was a stigmatism problem, but whatever it is. Okay.
Okay, what it has here, as we explained, and you'll see this, it has actually eyes, and it gives you readings underneath that you would take back to the child's doctor. And one of the problems why this isn't working, by the way, is because of the lights.
Yeah, I think it's
It
just
has
too
to
bright
be in
here.
a darkened room. It's too bright. That's why it's not picking up the reflection. And then it would tell you up here, it gives you some recommendations. But down on the bottom, you'll see in red, it'll give you the a preliminary diagnosis, which you can take back to the child's optometrist or ophthalmologist. This actually indicates astigmatism. But it also will do gaze defects. It will also do nearsightedness and farsightedness.
So yeah, I'll pass these around. You can pass them around to the different tables so you can see what they look like.
That machine is just for taking close-ups of the eyes.
It just takes you can see if you look at this when I pass it around, it takes a picture of the eye, and from the eye it determines whether or not. Yeah.
You don't. There's no adjustment on there to take a full.
No. Okay. It's just the eye. You'll see when I pass this around, there's actually a picture of the kid with their eyes. What I did was just blackened out the name for privacy reasons on this, because these were real screenings. But I'll start it here and we'll pass it around the room. Okay. Good.
This is pretty dark.
Does anyone have any questions on the camera or how it works? It's actually three months to, we did kids, 6 years old?
Yeah.
We did a screening up at Concordia's Learning Center at St. Joe's School for the Blind, not the visually impaired kids, but they have a daycare program that they had 3-year-olds, and we did babies of the parents that were registering the children up to, we had one that was 3 months old, and then we did a child that was 6 years old as well, and the rest of them were approximately 3 to 4 years of age. And we did 70 kids in about an hour and a half.
Yes, yes.
So it's very quick. The screening goes very quickly. We did about 70 kids on a Saturday morning.
This particular camera I have here is owned by the Rutherford Club, and we've also done some screenings in town. We've actually done kids up to like 8 or 9 years old too. You know, you can find other things. They say amblyopia. They say you should catch it by 5 or 6 to really do anything with it. But you know, it does give you other.
Do you want to go to a local school?
Yeah, we've set it up. We've done it at daycares. We've gone to daycare centers. We've also did it at a health fair in a church where people came to the health fair. We always question was, would it be reasonable for the multiple district to purchase one of these for the iMobile? And I think it would be reasonable. I can't speak for the multiple district. It costs about $8,000 for the device. So it's not cheap, but you know there is some money in the multiple district too. So, but you know it would be reasonable. It would make some sense. As I say,
not just the iMobile,
yeah.
but the schools, the
Yes,
local schools.
yes. He said not just for the automobile, but for the local schools. We just, as I say, we just purchased one in 16A, which I guess will then transfer to 16N when the redistricting takes place. So yes, it would be very reasonable. Any other questions? Yes, in the back.
You said you did 60 children in an hour. Where did you find 60 children that the parents let you take pictures of the children?
Okay, the 60 children was at a registration for a preschool at St. Joseph's School for the Blind in Jersey City. They were there.